It happened on a night when the sky was heavy with clouds and thunder rolled like angry drums far away. A woman named Omalicha, quiet and hardworking, went into labor. Her husband Dyke ran around the compound like a rooster that had lost its morning. When the baby came out, the midwife screamed. Not because the baby was sick, not because the baby was deformed. She screamed because the baby's head was covered with soft black hair, thick as new grass after rain. In the days when the moon still listened to humans, there was a village called Umu-Okpu, tucked between two stubborn hills and a river that never hurried. The land was red, the palm trees stood like tall elders, and the harmattan wind visited every season with a dry laugh. Umu-Okpu was known for many things. Its yams as big as baby goats, its drummers who could wake the spirits, and its markets where even silence could be sold. But above all, Umu-Okpu was known for one strange thing. Everyone in Umu-Okpu was bald. Not bald like an old man bald. Not bald because of sickness bald. No, in Umu-Okpu, babies came out bald. Children grew bald, young men stayed bald, women were bald, even the goats, people joked, looked like they were learning baldness. There was no barber in Umu-Okpu. There was no comb, no hair oil, no plaiting, no braiding. When outsiders came, the villagers would smile and say, "In this village, we do not carry grass on our heads." And outsiders would laugh nervously because they could feel it. Umu-Okpu's baldness was not ordinary. It was a rule older than the oldest kola nut tree. Long ago, Umu-Okpu was not bald. In those days, women wove hair like baskets, thick, long, proud hair that could slap your back when you danced. Men wore styles shaped like crowns. Children ran with hair bouncing like bush-tailed squirrels. But Umu-Okpu also had something else, pride that had grown too tall. It started when a traveler from the coast came to the village square with mirrors and beads. He looked at the villagers' hair and said, "Ah, your hair is so beautiful that even the sky would envy you." From that day, Umu-Okpu began to worship hair. They held hair festivals, hair competitions, hair songs. They started judging people not by character, not by honesty, not by how they treated widows or orphans, but by the shine of their hair and the thickness of their braids. A lazy man with long hair was praised. A kind woman with short hair was mocked. A child who grew hair slowly was called cursed. Then one season, the river began to shrink, the yams began to rot, the goats grew thin. The elders took kola and consulted the shrine of Allah Ulo, the spirit of balance. Allah Ulo spoke through the chief priest. "You have used hair to cover your eyes from wisdom. You have made beauty your God. Since you love hair more than truth, I will remove it from you. When your heads become smooth like calabash, maybe your heart will grow rough enough to hold sense." The people cried, they begged, they promised offerings. Alaulo answered, "Your punishment will last 7 generations, and only when humility returns will the curse lift. Until then, your village will remain bald, so that no one will use hair to measure another person's worth." That night, the wind swept through Umu-Okpu like a broom. In the morning, every head was clean and shining. No hair remained, not one strand. A woman named Omalicha, quiet and hardworking, went into labor. Her husband, Dyke, ran around the compound like a rooster that had lost its morning. When the baby came out, the midwife screamed. Not because the baby was sick, not because the baby was deformed. She screamed because the baby's head was covered with soft black hair, thick as new grass after rain. The baby cried, and the hair trembled with the cry. The midwife dropped the child for one heartbeat, then grabbed him again. "Oh, Malicha," she whispered, voice shaking like dried leaves, "you have given birth to a spirit." Dyke came close, looked at the baby, and his knees almost betrayed him. "My child has hair." Omalicha, exhausted, opened her eyes and saw the child. For a moment, a heart filled with wonder. Hair was forbidden, but it was also beautiful, like a secret gift. But wonder quickly turned into fear because in Umu-Okpu, hair was not just unusual. Hair was danger. Hair was a reminder of the cause. Hair was the kind of thing that could make elders gather. And when elders gather, the ground should tremble. They named the boy Nwokeji, meaning the one who carries tomorrow. But in their hearts of it, they were thinking, does he carry tomorrow or disaster? News travels faster than a hungry goat. Before Omalicha even drank warm water, women were already whispering outside the hut. He has hair. Are you sure? I saw it with my own eyes. Maybe it is a trick of darkness. Maybe Omalicha slept with a stranger. Maybe the gods are angry again. By morning, the compound was crowded. Some people came with curiosity. Some came with envy. Some came with hatred they could not explain. The village head, Eze Udo, arrived with elders who carried staffs carved with ancient symbols. They entered the hut and the air changed. Eze Udo looked at the baby for a long time. He said nothing. Then he spoke. This is not ordinary. One elder, Mazi Akpaka, spat on the floor. This is the return of pride, he hissed. Did we not suffer because of hair? Did our ancestors not lose peace because they worshipped hair? Now it grows again, inside our own walls. Another elder, Mama Nena, older than most men's memories, leaned forward. The curse had a condition, she murmured. 7 generations. How many have passed? Nobody answered. Because in Umu-Okpu, people had stopped counting. Baldness had become normal. But Mama Nena continued, or perhaps the gods are testing our hearts. Mazi Akpaka's eyes narrowed. Testing? When fire enters your heart, do you test it or do you pour water? The heart became quiet. Omalicha held her baby tightly. Dyke stood like a man waiting for judgment. Eze Udo finally said, the child must be taken to the shrine. Omalicha cried out. No! Dyke's voice shook. My lord, he is only a baby. Eze Udo raised his staff. Silence! The village is bigger than one child. And that was how it began. The battle between a mother's love and a village's fear. They carried Nwokeji to the shrine at the edge of the forest, where the air smelled like old leaves and secrets. The priest, Ogbuefi Inso, wore white chalk on his face, and his eyes looked like they had seen too much. He examined the baby's hair without touching it. Then he threw cowries. He listened to the wind. He poured palm wine to the earth. Finally, he spoke. This child is not a curse, he said slowly. He is a message. The elders leaned closer. Ogbuefi Inso continued. The village's curse was never about hair, it was about the heart. Baldness was a mirror, so you could see what mattered. But you people have turned the mirror into a crown. Mazi Akpaka frowned. What nonsense is this? The priest's voice became stronger. You say boldness is purity, yet your hearts are full of pride. You mock outsiders. You treat the poor like dust. You pretend humility, but you worship your identity like an idol. Eze Udo's jaw tightened. Ogbuefi Enso pointed at Nwokeji's hair. This hair will not be removed by razor or fire. It will grow until the village learns the lesson it forgot. That a person is not measured by what is on the head, but what is inside it. One elder asked carefully, so what must we do? The priest replied, when the boy becomes of age, he must travel to the river that never hurries. There he will meet the spirit of balance again. If he returns with humility in his hands, the village will be freed. If he returns with pride, your boldness will become heavier than iron. The elders exchanged looks. A journey, a prophecy. Prophecies are like palm wine, sweet, but they can make men behave foolishly. Nwokeji grew fast, and so did his hair. At 3 years old, it was thick like a small forest, At 6, it cold like question marks. At 10, it fell to his shoulders like a cloak. People stared whenever he walked. Children followed him and sang, hair boy, where did your hair come from? From the devil's pot, from the devil's pot. Some adults laughed. Some adults looked away. Some adults looked at him like a knife looks at yam. His mother, Omalicha, defended him like a lioness. Whenever someone insulted him, she would say, mind your tongue before it carries you into trouble. His father, Dyke, tried to teach him strength. Son, he said, in a world that fears you, you must be twice as calm. But no teaching could stop the loneliness. In Umu-Okpu, everyone was bald. Everyone looked the same. Nwokeji looked like a walking contradiction. Sometimes at night, he touched his hair and asked the darkness, why me? The darkness did not answer, but the moon sometimes shone brighter, as if listening. As Nwokeji entered his teenage years, three things began to grow beside his hair: attention, jealousy, and temptation. First temptation, pride. One day, a trader from another village came and saw Nwokeji. He clapped his hands. Ah, young man, your hair is rich. You could be famous in the city. They will call you Lionhead. Women will sing for you. Men will envy you. Come with me. For the first time, Nwokeji felt something dangerous, the sweet taste of being special. He imagined leaving Umu-Okpu behind, leaving mockery behind. But then he remembered his mother's tired eyes, his father's quiet strength. He said, I will not run from my village. The trader shrugged and left. Second temptation, anger. Another day, boys from the village cornered him. They held him down and tried to shave his head with a sharp blade, laughing. Let us help you become normal. Nwokeji fought like a trapped animal and escaped with scratches on his face. He ran home shaking with rage. That night, he stood before his mirror. Yes, Omalicha had secretly kept one and whispered, if I had power, I would punish all of them. But anger is a fire that burns the hand that carries it. He cried instead. Third temptation, magic. An old woman from the forest came to him quietly. I can make your hair disappear, she said. Bring me cola and a black chicken. Nwokeji stared at her. You can? She nodded. You will become like everyone else. No more pain. For a moment, the offer felt like peace. But deep inside, Nwokeji knew. If his hair was a message, removing it would be like tearing a letter. Without reading it, he refused. The old woman smiled strangely. Then you will carry your destiny fully. And she vanished like smoke. When Nwokeji turned 17, the elders called a meeting in the village square. The square was full. Even the birds sat quietly. Eze Udo stood and spoke. People of Umu-Okpu, the priest has spoken. The boy must go on the journey. Murmurs rose like bees. Some people shouted, yes, let him go. Others shouted, why should he risk his life for us? A few shouted, throw him away. He is the cause of our shame. Nwokeji stepped forward. He looked around at the bald heads shining under the sun. I did not ask for this hair, he said, but if my hair is tied to our village's fate, then I will go. Omalicha cried out and held his arm. My son, Nwokeji hugged her. Mother, if I stay, they will never stop seeing me as a problem. If I go, maybe I can return as an answer. Dyke placed his hand on his son's shoulder. Walk with your eyes open. And remember, the strongest man is not the one who defeats others, but the one who defeats himself. The priest, Ogbefi, and so gave Nwokeji a small pouch. Inside were three items: a pinch of salt, wisdom; a kola nut, peace; and a small mirror shard, truth. He said, these will help you when your mind becomes confused. Then, with the whole village watching, the hair-bearing boy began his journey. Nwokeji walked beyond farms, beyond familiar trees, beyond places where children's laughter followed him. The world outside Umu-Okpu felt wide and loud. On the second day, he met a blind drummer sitting by the road. The drummer played even though nobody danced. Nwokeji asked, "Why do you play when you cannot see who listens?" The drummer smiled. "I play because the drum is my truth, not because people clap." Then he added, "Young man, your hair is loud, but make sure your heart is louder." He gave Nwokeji a small drumstick and said, "When you face fear, remember rhythm. Fear has a rhythm too. Learn it and you can dance around it." Nwokeji thanked him and moved on. On the fourth day, he met a proud hunter boasting to a crowd. The hunter said, "I killed a leopard with my bare hands. I fear nothing." That night, the same hunter screamed when a harmless lizard fell on him. Nwokeji understood. Loud bravery often hides quiet fear. On the sixth day, he met a woman carrying water. Her pot leaked. Nwokeji offered to fix it. She shook her head. "No, the leak waters the seeds along my path. Because of the leak, I have a garden everywhere." Nwokeji paused. So even weakness could become blessing. He continued. The journey was shaping him like a sculptor shapes wood by removing what is unnecessary. At last he reached it, the river the priest described. It was calm, wide, and slow, as if time itself was sleeping inside it. Nwokeji sat by the bank and waited. At first, nothing happened. Then the wind shifted. The water began to ripple. A voice rose from the river, not loud, but deep, like the earth speaking. "Nwokeji!" His heart jumped. The river asked, "Why have you come?" Nwokeji swallowed. "I came because my village is bound by an old curse. They fear my hair. The priest said I must meet you." The river was silent for a long moment. Then it said, "The curse was a lesson, but your people turned the lesson into pride. Now they must learn humility again." Nwokeji asked, "How?" The river answered with a challenge. "Bring me three gifts: a tear from someone who hurt you, a smile from someone who envies you, and a blessing from someone who fears you." Nwokeji froze. "How can I collect such things?" The river replied, "That is the point. Go back. Learn the hearts of your people. You cannot change a curse with anger. You must change it with understanding." The river became still again. Nwokeji sat there until night. The stars reflected on the water like many eyes. He realized the journey was not about distance. It was about returning home with a new heart. So he turned back. When Nwokeji returned to Umu-Okpu, the village reacted like a pot placed on fire. Some people were disappointed. Has he failed? Did he run away? Maybe the spirits rejected him. But Nwokeji did not argue. He began to live differently. He started helping old women carry firewood. He repaired broken huts. He taught small children to read signs in the sand. He shared food with hungry families. People were confused. "He is strange. He is too gentle. Maybe his hair is making him soft." But something began to change, slowly, quietly, like dawn. The tear from someone who hurt him. The boy who had once tried to shave his head, his name was Obidi, the village bully, fell sick with a fever. Nobody visited him because Obidi had made enemies everywhere. Nwokeji went to his hut with herbs and water. Obidi's mother stared in shock. "You? After what my son did?" Nwokeji replied, "A wound does not heal by being ignored." He tended Obidi for days. When Obidi finally recovered, he saw Nwokeji's hands, scratched, tired, still working. Obidi's eyes filled with tears. He whispered, voice cracking, "I hurt you because I hated myself. When I looked at you, I saw what I was not. Forgive me." A tear fell. Nwokeji caught it with a cloth. First gift collected. The smile from someone who envies him. There was a girl named Amaka who had always mocked him in public, calling him forest head. But Nwokeji noticed something. Amaka's mockery was sharpest whenever other girls admired his hair. One day, Amaka's younger brother fell into the river near the farms. People screamed. The current pulled him. Nwokeji ran and dove in. He saved the boy. He brought him out coughing water but alive. Amaka ran to her brother and hugged him, shaking. Then she looked at Nwokeji. Her face softened for the first time in years. She smiled, not a big smile, but a real one. A smile that said, I see you now. Later, she confessed quietly, I envied the attention you got. I thought if I could make you feel small, I would feel bigger. Nwokeji nodded. Second gift collected. The smile. The blessing from someone who fears him. The last gift was the hardest. The person who feared him the most was not a child. It was Mazi Akpaka, the elder who had called him a return of pride. Mazi Akpaka avoided Nwokeji like bad medicine. But one season, thieves attacked the village at night. They stole goats and yams. They beat people. In the chaos, Mazi Akpaka's hut caught fire from a fallen lantern. People shouted, Leave it! That old man is too stubborn. But Nwokeji ran into the smoke. He dragged out Mazi Akpaka, coughing like a dying drum. Outside, under the stars, Mazi Akpaka stared at Nwokeji with disbelief. You saved me? Nwokeji said. A village does not heal by choosing who deserves rescue. The old man's eyes trembled. His voice became small. I feared you, Mazi Akpaka admitted, because you reminded me that our boldness was not holiness but punishment. I did not want to face that truth. He lifted his trembling hand and placed it on Nwokeji's hair, not to remove it but to acknowledge it. May your head carry wisdom, he said. May your heart remain clean even when others are dirty. May you become the kind of man our village forgot how to produce. A blessing. Third gift collected. With the tear, the smile, and the blessing, Nwokeji returned to the river that never hurries. He placed the gifts by the water. The river spoke again. You have learned something your village forgot. Humility is not boldness. Humility is character. The water began to glow faintly, as if moonlight had fallen into it. The river asked, One last question, Nwokeji. If your village becomes free and hair returns to everyone, what will you do when your specialness disappears? Nwokeji breathed deeply. If everyone has hair, then my hair will no longer be a crown, he said. And that is good, because I never wanted to be above them. I only wanted to belong. The river was silent. Then it laughed softly like water striking smooth stones. Then the course can end. The river rose into mist. Alaulo's presence filled the air, and the spirit said, Umu-Okpu, you are forgiven. Nwokeji woke up on the riverbank and found his hair shining with dew. He rushed home. As he entered Umu-Okpu, the village looked different. People were screaming, laughing, crying. Children were running around, touching their heads, because for the first time in generations, hair was growing. Small strands, soft fuzz, new life. Women wept as they felt hair like grass after rain. Men laughed nervously, rubbing their heads like they were dreaming. Elders sat quietly, humbled. Eze Udo, the village head, called everyone to the square. He stood before them, tears in his eyes. We were bold but not humble, he confessed. We wore our cross like pride, but this boy showed us that humility is not what is missing from your head, it is what is present in your heart. The village turned to Nwokeji. Some knelt, some bowed, some simply stared with gratitude. Omalicha ran and hugged her son so hard he almost lost breath. My child, she cried, your hair was not shame, it was prophecy. Dyke stood beside them and said, voice thick, a man's destiny is sometimes carried in the thing people mock. After that day, Umu-Okpu made a new tradition. Not a hair festival, not a beauty contest, but a day called Ubochi Obi, the Day of the Heart. On that day, people did not show off hairstyles. Instead, the rich served the poor, enemies apologized, strangers were welcomed, and the elders told the children the story of the boy who carried tomorrow on his head. And they taught a new proverb: hair can grow overnight, but character grows by choice. Nwokeji himself did not become king. He did not become a prideful hero. He became something harder and more powerful, a bridge. He traveled to other villages teaching peace. He helped to rebuild Umu-Okpu's values. He married, had children, and told them, never mock what you don't understand. Sometimes the thing that looks like a curse is the key to your freedom. Hairy head hides a hairy heart. Moral of the folktale: what makes you different is not always your weakness. Sometimes it's your assignment. Humility is not an appearance, it is behavior. A community changes when one person chooses wisdom over revenge. A cause can survive for generations when people refuse to learn its lesson.